Impact 102.1 FM. It is time for the newspaper review. Yes, you have been waiting for us, we know, but there's a reason behind our coming at this time. Yes, we sincerely do apologize. There was a technical glitch, and that is why you're just hearing the sound of your favorite newspaper review on radio. My name is Esther Kalu, and today, as always, I will not be giving you the headlines by myself. Hello.
Good morning, Lagos, and good morning, Nigerians. My name is Oyinpriye Krumale. Esther, it's great to be with you this morning on the newspaper review.
Glad to have you here, Krumale. Yes. I would love to say that, Nigeria is experiencing peculiar times right now.
Yes.
A lot is going on, and that's why the newspaper review tries as much as we can to bring these headlines to people every day as they start their day. If you're joining us for the first time, what we do on the newspaper review is pretty simple. We get the dailies, the national dailies, and then we bring out the headlines from these dailies and ask you to let us know your take on the top stories, ask you to share your opinion with us. And if we don't hear from you, we may not just know what is going on your end. So 070010211021. I'll take that again. 070010211021. That's how you can participate and let us know your top story for today. We look at 4 papers every weekday: the Punch newspaper, the Guardian newspaper, the Vanguard newspaper, and the Daily Trust newspapers. Krumale,
yes.
Have you had the opportunity to spend the old naira?
No, I haven't.
500 and 1,000.
In fact, since the new naira policy came into place, and how Nigerians have been going through the hardship of trying to get the new naira notes to spend, the 50 naira, the 100 naira, the 200 naira, both new and old, and the 500 naira new 1,000 naira notes. And because I can't go through that hurdle, that stress, I just restrain myself from anything that will take my time unnecessarily. So I've not laid my hands on the old naira nor the new naira notes for quite a while now.
Oh, okay. Do you know that as much as the central bank has approved that the 1,000 naira, old 1,000 naira and old 500 naira notes be spent as legal tender, there's still some form of shortage. We thought that by today, this is Thursday, and the weekday, the working day would end tomorrow. People would think that before Thursday, money should be in circulation. In fact, there are people that have told that, don't worry, by Sunday I'll give you cash.
Yes, I thought as much, but immediately after the Supreme Court came out to give that verdict and that judgment, we know that the banks some banks started paying up the old naira notes. They gave the old naira notes to many of the customers. They paid via the counter to customers who in turn went out to go and spend the money. But transport operators, petroleum stations, people who sell provisions and staple foods in the market and all over the place still refuse to collect the money.
I spent the old 500 naira notes.
Yes, but I bet that's after 2 or 3 days after the Supreme Court gave that judgment, because immediately they did that.
That was on.
They refused to collect the money.
That was on Tuesday.
They were saying they are waiting for Mr. President or the CBN to give the go ahead, in spite of the fact that the Supreme Court has done that, because I don't understand the reason why they did that. So after this, so they were waiting for the Mr. President, just the way he came up the other time to give a national broadcast. They were expecting the same thing, and because then nobody, they weren't accepting it. That was when some people started tugging on Emefiele and Mr. President. We will remember when the NLC said they are giving the government an ultimatum till Tuesday, which was day before yesterday, that if you don't come out and address these things, we are going to shut down the country. There's going to be a wide protest and all of that before we believe an instruction was given to Emefiele to give that public release.
Okay, let's get into the papers. The Punch newspaper is where I will start from this morning. The first story here says new Naira pains persist despite fresh CBN orders. New Naira pains persist despite fresh CBN orders. The writer says queues, chaos in banking halls as scarcity worsens. Banks expect more notes from CBN before Saturday polls. That's the writer to that story.
Before Saturday polls.
Nigeria rejoins UN peacekeeping mission 10 years after exit. I hope this brings some peace to Nigeria, more peace. Election poster, Lagos summons principal for punishing pupil. Oh my God. I'd like to get into the details of that later if we have the time. FG shifts census to May. Yes.
See, I've been waiting. I've been waiting. It was supposed to come up in April.
March.
January, February, March.
March 29.
I was thinking it was supposed March 29.
I would verify that information.
Yes,
I know
so
March.
it was supposed to come earlier than May, that they've shifted it too. But I still think if we're not careful, it's still going to be moved forward, because that will be the time a new government would just be, getting into the saddle, and the government will still be finding it somewhat, demanding or challenge to settle into office before start putting. I know that immediately government comes into place, is going to be demanding annual reports from the ministries, departments, and agencies. All the ministers or prospective ministers, their names will be scheduled. There will still be a lot of politicking at that point in time on who is going to be minister of this, who is going to be minister of that. Then there's going to be politicking, and this is going to keep the public away. It's going to keep the public away.
Okay.
So the government in itself will not be completely ready at that point in time, irrespective of the fact that the National Population Commission would have been doing their own work and they would have been ready. But yet, to say they would have been 50% ready by that time, I'm not sure.
Let me finish the front pages, because I really want us to get into the detail of some of these stories if we have the time. Private sector blames Naira crisis for inflation surge. That's the next story. Parties warn INEC against BVAS problems repeats. Very important. Fuel consumption hits 80 million Naira daily. That is the last story I have on the Punch newspaper. Remember that you can call us 0700 1021 1021. You can send us a WhatsApp message 0907 224 5018.
Okay, thank you very much, Esther. Now let's move on to stories making the rounds and front page of the Daily Trust newspaper. Yes, going forward to stories making the rounds on front page of the Daily Trust newspaper, and the central caption says energy cash shortages push inflation into 21.91%. The writer to that story says Kwara, Imo, Lagos paid more for food in February. Traders skeptical about old Naira notes want Buhari to address the nation. Mopping up Naira, not sustainable way to tackle inflation, says experts. Let me go up straight to the stories making rounds on the top page of the Daily Trust newspaper. Crack in APC's National Working Committee as Omishore demands 500 million Naira damages from the vice chairman. Petrol subsidy removal, no conclusion yet on palliatives, says federal government. Elections, police redeploy 5 commissioners of police in Kano in 1 week. Police redeploys 5 commissioners of police in Kano in 1 week. And we can see a pictorial representation of some materials being deployed. It says INEC deploys materials, incumbents opposition in last minute moves. Okay, that's with regards to the March 18th state governors and houses of assembly elections. That is just barely 2 days away as INEC has started deploying sensitive materials to the respective states. And we really hope that this translates into these materials, getting to the polling unit as at when due, and not what we experienced on the 25th of February during the presidential and national assembly elections. Lastly, some of the stories: Nigeria returns to United Nations peacekeeping operations. Federal Executive Council okays Nigeria's agenda for 2050, and teacher rapes 4 siblings in Gombe State. Those are the stories making the rounds on front page of the Daily Trust newspaper.
0700-1021-1021. You can call us. You can let us know your top story for this morning, or send us a message 0907-224-5018. I know that I took the stories on the front pages on the front page of the Punch newspaper, but there's a story that has been trending still on the Punch newspaper. Oro rights to end before Saturday elections. That's coming from Elegushi, and this has been everywhere. A lot of people are asking why this Saturday, but the traditional ruler of the Kate Elegushi Kingdom of Lagos State, Oba Said Ademola, on Wednesday said the Oro festival in his community would not affect Saturday's governorship and House of Assembly elections. He has made that clear. There's a message on WhatsApp that we couldn't take yesterday because of our time. I'm trying to get it to make sure that we are able to air that opinion. And yes, you can send your message to 0907-224-5018. That's 0907-224-5018. If I'm not able to get that WhatsApp message, I'll move on. I found it. Some people acted as agents to deposit the old notes to CBN, collecting 1,000 naira for 500 naira. So far, after giving out
1,000 naira for 500 naira.
Yes. So after giving out their old notes for lower values, it became legal tender again. CBN goofed on this. The swapping process was poorly executed. I'm yet to spend the old notes, but I saw it with traffic hawkers. Yesterday. So this person sent the message on Wednesday. He saw it with traffic hawkers on Tuesday, meaning people are beginning to spend it.
The old Naira notes.
Yes, Ola from Ibafo. I spent it on Tuesday. Although there was somebody who was not she was not in a hurry to collect it until her neighbor said, "Oh yes, they are accepting it. You can accept it in the market." So that's it on that particular one. Let's move away. We've looked at the Punch newspaper and the Daily Trust newspaper. Let's move very quickly to the Guardian newspaper. The Guardian newspaper starts with economic matters. It says at 21.91%, inflation sets new high amid currency crisis. The writer says experts link rise to Naira redesign. Waleke says using currency squeeze to tackle inflation counterproductive. Emefiele warns African central bankers against possible bank run. Subsidy removal. Federal government states yet to conclude on palliatives ahead June deadline. Let me move on. Amid outrage, NBA defense position on poll says lapses left for court's decision. Okay, let's see. WHO moves to curb crimes by immigrants, nurses, and others. That is on page 4. Lagos court orders IGP and AGF to pay 400 million naira to families of 4 Ladipo traders. 400 million naira. Away from that, Lagos markets fire. Sanwo-Olu compensates Akere traders with 100 million naira. This is also on the Guardian newspaper. Remember the incidents that happened in Ajegule, the markets that got burns. That's it on that story. 10 killed and others injured in fresh southern Kaduna attack. Now that one touched me. I mean, it's been a while we heard about persistent attacks. But
It's
now
as if they were just
coming,
waiting for the presidential elections.
now
Immediately after the presidential elections,
they
they
are back.
resumed again.
This is
Because for the past 2 days, we've been hearing about there was killing in Katsina
Yeah.
State, there was killing in Gombe or Nasarawa State as well. And
Let me take the last story. So, immigration officials threaten elections boycott over alleged unpaid allowances. That's it on the Guardian newspaper. Don't forget, you can let us know your top story, and if you've had someone who refused to accept the old 1,000 naira or the old 500 naira notes, let us know. 0700 1021 1021. You can call us. You can send us a WhatsApp message 0907 224 5018. That's 0907 224 5018. Krumale,
Yes.
I have the front page of the Vanguard newspaper. I'll give it to you
All
so
right.
we can start taking.
now let's look at stories making the rounds on front page of the Vanguard newspaper. War in APC over poll funds as Omishore sues for 500 million naira. The writer says a party national vice chair Northwest Lukman leads call for Adamu Omishore to quit. Accuses Omishore of mismanaging funds and party voted for the last Osun State governorship elections. Omishore fires back, demands 500 million naira as damages for defamation. At the topmost part of the Vanguard newspaper, cash crunch pushes down inflation month on month.
We have a call. Hello, good morning. Hello, can you hear us? Okay, do well to call us back again, Krumale.
Okay, cash crunch pushes down inflation month on month. 2 days to polls. Candidates, parties bicker over violence, rigging, and apathy. Still on polls, the National Bureau of the NBC rather sanctions 25 stations, warns 26 others. Moving on, Buhari's silence on allegations against INEC, dangerous, Southern Middle Belt leaders. And Tinubu's silence over attacks on Igbos in Lagos, dangerous for Nigeria, says Labour Party. Yes, Edward wants Usman is going to knock him out again. That's on the sports. And we still have other top stories on the front pages. Emefiele advises central bankers on industry stability. Fuel subsidy, federal government states yet to harmonize ahead of June deadline. Federal government and states yet to harmonize on June deadline. Presidential poll, Atiku PDP withdraw fresh allegations against INEC. Atiku PDP withdraw fresh applications against INEC. Yeah, we have another caller online. We lost that as well. Those are the stories making the rounds on front page of the Vanguard newspaper.
Seems there's a network glitch this morning, but keep trying before we call it a wrap here. If you're able to reach out to us, what's your top story? Have you been able to spend the old 500 or the old 1,000 naira note? I hear there are people who are still resisting these currencies, and I hear that there's also scarcity. The bank is saying that they are yet to receive it, while CBN, has promised that money will be sent to these
the banks.
Yes. I was trying to get the story on the census being moved. So
Okay.
yes, the former date was March 29 to end April 2nd. It was going to start, but so it has been moved now to May. And when I saw this, I think I was discussing with was it you or Sarah that I feel that the census should have happened before the elections.
Okay, yes, you made that clear.
It
will be politicized because if it's too close. Remember, I do remember that normally Nigerian census is extremely deeply entrenched into politics because the allocation of resources is premised on certain elements, on certain indices of which population and census plays a greater role.
Okay.
So even when it's not close to elections, normally it will be politicized. Let alone when it is very close, it will be politicized. So I think those who made that day for it to be for the census to be done after the elections did a very good job.
Okay,
so that
great point.
Yes,
very great point. Okay.
Okay, yes, please.
Now I wanted to read the new Naira pains persist despite fresh CBN orders story very quickly, but you can still let us know your top story. 0700 1021 1021. The time is fast spent. 0907 224 5018. That's where you can send us your message. But barely 3 days after the Central Bank of Nigeria declared old 1,000 naira and 500 naira and 200 naira notes as legal tender, deposit money banks say they are beginning to run out of the old currencies. The development led to severe hardship and pains for several bank customers seeking to withdraw funds on Wednesday. This is according to reports from the Punch newspaper. Umale, are you shocked that that is in the news?
No, I'm not. I'm not. At this moment, nothing shocks anyone in Nigeria anymore. For Nigerians are just what they need at this moment in time is a breath of fresh air. Most especially with this new Naira policy, what they want to do now is they just want to move away from what the danger they experienced, where cash they spend their money buying their money, and they just want to move on.
There's also a very unique story here on the paper, on the Punch newspaper. Election poster, Lagos summons principal for allegedly punishing pupil. And I'm seeing an exit notes here. Let me just read this very quickly. It's quite interesting. The Lagos State Ministry of Education has said it is investigating the complaint of a parent, Mr. Barry Nada, who alleged that his daughter, Marvelous Barry Nada, was sent out of Odomola Junior Secondary School, Ekpe, for using the poster of one of the contestants in the last election to wrap his books. Let me continue. A statement signed by the Ministry of Education said it had invited the principal to explain what actually transpired. So a viral Facebook post by the father, which had a screenshot of the exit slip, read that this is to inform you all that my daughter, because I saw his and I'm seeing daughter, that my daughter, Marvelous Barry Nada, was exits from Odomola Secondary School today, March 14, 2023, by the school principal, just because my daughter uses Peter Obi's poster paper to wrap her school notebooks. And this girl is just 10 years old. She doesn't know anything about politics, but she was sent away from school without informing the parents because they said we supported Peter Obi and the Labour Party. I want to see the end of this investigation.
This is
It's still an allegation.
It's still an allegation.
It's still an allegation.
It's wrong.
Okay. I'm seeing the exit notes. It's saying Miss Barinada Marvelous of GSS 2R is hereby permitted to go home to campaign for Peter Obi against the wish of Lagosians. Thanks. And there's a signature. It's an allegation.
She's not even 18 yet.
Let's wait.
If it's a public school, the teacher
it's
a public school, and the teacher is a civil.
Minister.
No. See, the teacher is a public servant and has no right to play a role that shows everyone that she belongs to a particular political party.
If it's not a public school, the teacher still has no right.
So why would you do that for a 10-year-old?
Hold on.
It is so
it's
wrong.
still an allegation.
It-
Let's wait for
It is so
the
wrong.
outcome.
It's an allegation, but that's the script. That's the exit note.
I want to believe
vividly
that
captured by the newspaper.
no, I want to believe, because it has no logos or any signs or anything. So I want to believe
if it-
that there's an
Well,
explanation.
let's just move away from that story. It notwithstanding, it's very, very wrong. Before we wrap it up, before we call it a day in the newspaper review, there's something I want to point out.
Okay.
The election that we just had and we are going to have on the 18th of March is based on secret ballots. You go, you vote secretly, and you put it in the box, and that is a law by INEC. You are not even allowed to take your phone there to snap who you are voting for. But we have the president, we have governors, we have politicians, we have other big political stakeholders in these elections who voted for their political parties, and they showed it to the public. Look, I am voting for this political party. Are the president and the governors, are they exempted from that law? Are they exempted from that law? INEC needs to address this. It is wrong. We don't make laws that a section of society or a strata of society should obey, and the other strata of society will just turn deaf ears to it. It's wrong. INEC should address this, because if they are these are influential people, they are indirectly campaigning on that particular day of election by that public act. They shouldn't do that. INEC should tell political stakeholders to desist from doing that. It's wrong.
Our time is fast spent. Our time is way fast spent. Thank you so much for those who joined us this morning. We hope to come back to some of these stories. I really hope that INEC pays attention to some of the details that Krumale has also stated. My name is Esther Kalu, and On Record comes to you at 9 a.m. Krumale will tell you more.
Yes, my name is Oyinpriye Krumale. Many thanks for joining us on the newspaper review. Do join us again. On Record, we'll be having the Director General of the Labour Party campaign trail as the elections for the gubernatorial and House of Assemblies is barely 2 days away. Do join us again at that time. Bye. Many thanks for listening.
Patriotic Nigerians should hear this. Any politician who means well for